Many portable consoles, starting with the Nintendo DS, have had sleep modes for quite some time now, so the Steam Deck should be no different, right? Sleep mode, standby, whatever you call it, the Steam Deck can do it. Of course, no PC has a feature quite like this, and so many PCs and emulators are made without taking this into account. Let's talk about it. According to YouTube analytics, only about 12% of you guys subscribe to my channel. And here's to hoping this percentage number goes up. So if you like my content, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, join my Discord server, and also enable notifications. Today we've got a wide variety of games, ranging from Steam games to GOG games to Epic games to emulated games on various systems. The goal of this video is to see how the Steam Deck's sleep mode interacts with these sort of games and emulators. If a game or emulator doesn't work, hopefully we can submit this as a bug and hopefully they'll get it fixed. One question I had was whether or not sleep mode worked differently between having it portable and having it docked. If there's any difference in performance or anything of the sort. This question only really matters for the purposes of recording this video because, well, I would much rather record using my capture card, if possible. So let's get started. So I tested out Starbound. I put the deck to sleep while in portable mode and while in capturing. And, well, the results are that it really doesn't matter. It's about the same speed. And yeah, that was just one game that I recorded, but I tested it out with a number of other games, you know, not recording this video, but just in general, and it seems like there's no real difference between the two, except for one thing. Just randomly sometimes, instead of playing audio to the external, you know, capture card, sometimes it'll just play out of the Steam Deck speakers, for no apparent reason. I have no idea what triggers this. There's no rhyme or reason to it, and honestly, it just seems like it's random. I suspect that it might have to do with my dock. It's kind of a piece of crap dock that I bought for really cheap. I might just need a new dock. I'll definitely buy the Steam Deck dock when it comes out though. So yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any detrimental gameplay effects when you put Starbound to sleep. We have plenty more games to check out in this video. Here's God of War. In most cases, I'm putting the game in sleep mode for 5 seconds and then waking it back up. All of which will be cropped out in this video for brevity, of course. Of note is this weird flickering issue that happens when you wake the Steam Deck from sleep mode, but only if it's docked. This doesn't happen when you put it to sleep portably, of course. What sleep mode video is complete without Omori? A game about friendships, reality, dreams, sleeping, and waking up. As fate would have it, I've already beaten this game once, though I've only beaten the true story. I've yet to go through the Hikikomori route, so yeah, it's a good time to play this game again. What happens when we close our eyes to leave this dream? Let's put Omori to sleep. Wow, that sounded a bit darker than I expected. And look, Omori and gang wakes up just fine. I would say more, but I'm afraid of blurting out spoilers accidentally, even though this game's like a year and a half old at this point. Next is Gunvault, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't played this game since the 3DS, so wow, this game's a lot harder than I remember. And if you want to ask, yes, I did test out standbying during loading screens, and it didn't seem to affect the load times at all for a number of games, including God of War and this one. And here's Daemon X Machina. This one's an example of an Epic game that I got for free, as in like Epic game for free. I didn't pirate this or anything. So yeah, it works. Now here's another Epic game, Chris Tales. I initially tested this out with the Epic version of the game, but I do in fact own this game on Steam as well. This game was also given for free on Epic, so I figured it was a good candidate to test out. So let's put this Epic Games game to sleep. Anyways, I kinda left this for like 5 minutes, and look, it still works just fine. Sleep mode is a godsend for these sort of RPGs. And here's a GOG game right here, Shadow Warrior 2. I don't know why I own this on GOG and not Steam. Because I didn't buy this game, I think they gave it to me for free or something. So yeah, I killed all the enemies around me just to, you know, have fun. And then, you know what I did? I put the decks to sleep. And look, a PC game that can sleep and wake up with no issues whatsoever. I guess it's to be expected for proper PC games, but let's try a wild card out. Irisu Syndrome. This is definitely the most obscure game I'll ever show off on this channel. It's a fun freeware puzzle game with a dark twist. The game itself is Japanese, so you'll want an English translation to play this game. Anyways, let's see if this works out. I should be less surprised that it works at this point. Aside from like, you know, MMOs or games that have always online, I can't really think of a game that wouldn't work that great with sleep mode on. Speaking of MMOs, here's an MMO I used to play some 10 years ago, I believe. Spiral Knights. I've got quite a history with this game. I was part of a legendary guild known as Guild. Yes, that's seriously what the name was. But that's another story for another time. Anyways, we're using Spiral Knights because I already have an account in characters. Anyways, we're gonna do 2 sleep mode tests, a short period and a long period. This was actually 15 seconds, which was the short period. Now we do the long period. As you can see here, it's only been 2 minutes and it kicked us out of the game for being AFK. So yeah, don't sleep mode MMOs. Now let's move on to emulators. This is Melon DS, running Order of Ecclesia, and honestly, I'm interested in seeing how emulators fare given that, well, emulators are quite different from normal PC games. So the Nintendo DS was among the first systems that can be put to sleep by closing the clamshell. Can the Steam Deck do this, though without a clamshell? Yes. Yes, it can. More specifically on this particular DS emulator, Melon DS, the standalone flat pack. I bet it works with RetroArch as well. And here's Dolphin emulating Muramasa, a Wii game. As you know, the GameCube and Wii never had a sleep function. Is the portable Wii dream real? Well, let's find out in a few short moments. And the answer is yes. Yes, it is. So you might be wondering why I'm not testing multiple games out for the same emulator, and that's because it's more of an emulator problem than it is a game problem. If one game doesn't properly stand by, then you can bet the entire library won't stand by properly either. And in this case, Dolphin standbys just fine. Now here's where things get really interesting. This is Yuzu, the Switch emulator, running Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. You want to take a wild guess as to what happens? That's right, Yuzu totally craps itself. The game will go to sleep, but when it wakes up, it craps itself. It's also worth mentioning that you straight up cannot exit Yuzu once you do this. Like, look, you see, you can try exiting it, you can try force closing it with Steam plus B, it just doesn't work. I tried to undock it to see if that helped, and well, it didn't help. Truth be told, your only recourse is to restart the entire Steam Deck. Now you might be wondering, was that just an isolated incident? Could it just be a problem with just Scott Pilgrim? Let's find out. This is Link's Awakening for the Nintendo Switch on Steam Deck. Let's see how this fares. Wow, same results. At this point, I was convinced. It was definitely Yuzu's fault. The emulator just doesn't play well with the sleep mode feature. And yes, the emulation devs do know this, and they do want to fix this at some point. Though it may prove to be difficult given that these emulators aren't exactly Steam games, so they don't have access to Steamworks features like this. And they're definitely looking for a workaround for this, so maybe in the future, Yuzu will work. This is our PCS3, running Odinsphere Leifthurshire. And you know what, we're not even actually playing the game right now, we're just picking up the book and getting ready to read it. So let's see what happens when we put it to sleep. It should still work, right? No, unfortunately our PCS3 doesn't work when you put it to sleep. Such is life though, there's not much you can do about that really. So what did we learn today? We learned that it mostly works except for some high-level emulation like the Nintendo Switch or the PS3. But those can be fixed and emulator devs have expressed some interest in getting that fixed. Because by God, it will be a glorious day if they get that fixed.